So, Craig, does a Brock Purdy win end the Brock Purdy debate forever?
Probably not, because there's people out there that will never admit that they got it wrong and will find some aspect of his game to be critical. It's what we do, I suppose. I don't think Brock Purdy has to play the greatest Super Bowl of all time. I think he's already proven his mettle as a legitimate franchise quarterback. And I'll give you the juxtaposition, and I think I'll prove my point here. After Jordan Love had that great playoff game in round 1 of the playoffs, and oh my God, they went into Dallas and they beat the Cowboys, undefeated home with 16 straight games, 30 points a game, blah blah blah. We were like, oh, okay. Jordan Love's a franchise quarterback. Green Bay's got to extend him 5 years, $100+ million. And then he had a great three quarters against San Francisco, obviously through the interception that ended the game. But we all sat here. Every guy that used to play the game sat here with Willie and Plax and Greg and Victor, etc., saying, you got to give Jordan Love his props. Jordan Love's a franchise quarterback, etc., etc. This guy's better. This guy's been more successful. This guy's won more. And this guy is 60 minutes away from getting a Super Bowl title. So I'm just asking for some level of consistency. If we're going to praise the great job and the great development that we saw out of Jordan Love from really about week 10 or 11 on, where statistically he was a top echelon quarterback, then let's be fair to this kid who wins every single time he goes out on the field and is now taking his team to the Super Bowl. The criticism is unwarranted. Doesn't mean he's perfect. You can nitpick aspects of his game like you can for any quarterback. But the notion that he's got to outplay Mahomes and win the Super Bowl and score 30 points, all the other crap I've heard all week long, not from you guys, but just checking out other shows and whatnot, is frankly comical to me.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he doesn't get the credit because of all the impressive skill players around him, right? That's
and because of where he got drafted.
And where he got drafted. But however, I think he needs to have a good Super Bowl. I think because you know what Patrick Mahomes is capable of, you know what he has done in the past, and he has to be able to go toe for toe and make plays. Like we know the whole game manager thing is, it is what it is. But overall, he's going to have to step up in big moments. We've seen it the last 2 weeks, but the Super Bowl is different. If you do it on the biggest stage against the face of the NFL, that puts you in another echelon. So,
for sure, but I'm looking at the flip side. I know what's going to happen if he outplays or even matches Mahomes, and he's not the reason they lose, and maybe he is the reason they win.
Right.
I get that. That's an easy narrative. Hey, half America screwed up on their commentary about Brock Purdy. The question is, if he plays average to poorly, we all know what's going to happen on Monday.
Yes.
He's going to be dragged.
Yeah, absolutely. That part is factual. For me, and let me say this, because I'm not so stuck on my takes that I can't admit when I was wrong. I was wrong about Brock Purdy in the sense of hold on. Let me finish. I always knew he was a good quarterback. My argument with Brock Purdy was that he wasn't a game changer. He didn't disrupt the defenses in a fashion of which it was like on his shoulder. Once he performed in the fashion of which we all watched in that championship game against Detroit, he's a guy.
He's a guy.
Now, what I will say is this. My expectation of Brock Purdy isn't to go out there and be better than Patrick Mahomes. I don't have that expectation of no one.
It's almost unfair.
Like, that would be completely unfair.
Right.
However, what he cannot do is go out there and lay an egg.
He can't be the Brock Purdy that we saw for 3 quarters in the rain against Green Bay.
He can't do that.
I got you.
He can't.
Now, he could be kind of average and not have a turnover, and we could question, well, he didn't play great, but I'm with you. He can't throw 2 first-half picks.
No.
He can't overthrow guys, underthrow guys, not throw screen passes well, where it's very obvious, if we're sitting there objectively, where we're going to say, boy, the moment got him. He was nervous. He was whatever the words we want to use. I'm with you on that. And like you said, if he's the reason they lose, meaning, 13 for 27, 3 picks, 80 yards, bad decisions, et cetera, Oh, it's going to be ugly.
Well, that's why we talked
Brock
about
Purdy.
it yesterday. If you're Kyle Shanahan and when it comes to the coin toss and you have the opportunity to get the ball, get your offense out there.
And by the way, I think that
get him going early.
I forget about the wagering aspect of it. To me, the single biggest question from a strategic standpoint is that.
Yeah.
Because we all know what everybody does. You defer, so you get the possession to start the second half, and maybe you steal an extra possession by ending the first half with the rock and then starting the second half with it. But from a pure position of strategy, if Kansas City wins the toss, what do they do? If San Francisco wins the toss, what do they do? I feel like we have plenty of time to go down that road.
Yep.
So if you guys want to change what people are reading down there, let's do that. All right? And let's start with Kansas City. I think it's a worthy conversation.
Give me the ball.
Everyone's got an opinion. Jacobs, you go first.
Give me the ball.
Kansas City wins the toss.
They have put together amazing opening run drives, over 7 minutes, 2 touchdowns, and we know what Andy Reid is like off a bye week. We know they have scripted plays. If I'm Kansas City, give me the ball. Let's put pressure on the 49ers, score a touchdown in 8 minutes.
Okay, stay with Kansas City. Your thought.
I say defer because they've done it. They've taken the ball anytime, whether their defense is taking the field first. Once they get the ball, they're going to sustain a drive and they're going to put points on the board. If they get the ball first, they're going to do the same thing. So you can defer. Their defense has done a great job of really holding up. So you defer and put the pressure on Brock Purdy.
Yeah, for me, I think it comes back to how they started against Baltimore, right? It was Kelsey's energy. It was that offensive line.
They got 3 and out against Baltimore, too.
Right. It was them, right. But offensively, it was important for Kelsey to not show that he was scared of that Baltimore defense. It was important that Patrick Mahomes was as efficient as he was. It was important for that run game to come alive early for them. So for me, if you got a chance, if you're the Chiefs, get Patrick Mahomes in that offense going right out the gate.
Yeah, I think if I'm Kansas City, I want my offense on the field.
Yeah.
Because I got the best first drive offense in the sport.
Right.
And if I can go down and whether it's an extended drive or not, if I score, you don't know how San Francisco reacts to it.
Especially
now,
after the last 2 weeks.
Nobody could have figured out that Baltimore would react so poorly. And to be fair, as Jacoby said, Baltimore went 3 and out first, and then Kansas City went right down the field.
So that's my point. Like, we've seen Patrick Mahomes is going to respond. I don't think any one of us believes that, if the 49ers take the ball or they get the ball first, meaning that if the Chiefs win the toss and they defer and give the ball to the 49ers, they go down and score. I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to get on the field and be like, oh, my gosh, what are we going to do? I know they've shown that they can go right down and come away with points.
Yeah, but I think it's a sense of gamemanship. If Patrick Mahomes and his offense goes down and score right at the gate now, considering what we've seen out of Brock Purdy the last 2 weeks, they've already started slow. Now the pressure's extra on him, right?
No doubt.
Now he has to respond right away.
Now,
Because Patty and that momentum, it just grows as they go.
And 7-0, no. But if Kansas City comes out of the gate, scores a touchdown, whether you go 3 and out or 5 and out or 6 and out, and you don't score, and now Kansas City's got the ball a second time, all of a sudden, things do start to change.
That being said, we've all seen it before. You could be down 10 points, but if you have the ball under 2 minutes at the end of the first half and you know you're getting it back, you've always got a chance. Even if you're 2 scores down, 3 scores down, when you defer and you get that second half, you can always look at the scoreboard and be like, I know we're down 17, but there's a world in which we're down 3 really quickly.
All right, let me flip the script on you guys. Jacoby, you go first again. And I've got a very definitive take on this, so I'll go last. Baltimore. San Francisco wins the toss.
Yep.
You putting the kid out on the field, hut 1, hut 2, Jesus, Mary, hut. I'm meaning Brock Purdy, or do you defer and put Kansas City's offense out
I'm deferring.
Go.
Really?
I'm deferring if I'm the 49ers and I'm putting Patrick Mahomes on the field.
I see you shaking your head. Go.
I'm absolutely not deferring, and it's not because of Brock Purdy in the offense. It's because of what I haven't seen my defense, or what I have seen my defense do.
Right.
They give up everything. Like we watched Detroit. We watched Jordan Love. Like, this defense, for whatever reason, in the first halves, they don't even show up.
And you can run on them. All right, what do you take? And I'll give you the obvious answer. Good.
Yeah, for me, I'm putting Brock Purdy in that offense on the field ASAP. And I'm going to add stability by putting the offense through Christian McCaffrey. Because as much as we want to see Brock Purdy be the game manager, whatever you want, when Christian McCaffrey and those guys running that ball, they're just a more efficient offense. So I'm running the ball and I'm going downhill with
And I tell you what, I'm with you guys. If San Francisco wins the toss and I'm Shanahan, I am putting my offense on the field. And I'm doing it for a couple of reasons. One, My defense has been a weak spot here,
Yes.
and I don't want to deal with the reality of them having a 6 or 7 minute drive, running all over Chase Young and my defense, and putting points on the board, and then putting Brock Purdy and that offense on the field, with maybe only one first quarter possession already down. Plus, I want as much normalcy as possible, right? I don't want my offense sitting on the sideline with hats on the bench, waiting. You got, America the Beautiful. You have the Black National Anthem.
Yep.
You got the White National Anthem.
Yeah.
You got the Chinese National Anthem. You got a lot of national anthems are being played. Then you got the flyover. Then you got all the smoke and all that stuff. Then you got to get everybody off the field. And I want my offense on the field.
Correct.
I want as much normalcy as possible, because if Kansas City takes the field and my dudes are just sitting out there, that's when bad thoughts get inside your head. I don't want that.
And I'll add to that. The reason why I'm saying I'll take the ball if I'm Brock Purdy and I'm this offense is because, like, what I've seen my defense do, I mentioned that. But also, if Kansas City takes the ball first and they score, and they get a touchdown, now my first 15 plays that I've scripted all week long, I have to now counter what they just did. But if I take the ball, my first 15 are going to be my first 15. Right. I'm no longer even worried about what they have done. I'm dictating the terms of which we start
and
to
remember
set
this,
game.
as great as Mahomes is and all that stuff that comes along with Mahomes and Kelsey and Reed, this particular year, this is not a good come-from-behind team. They're one of the worst second-half offenses in the sport. They got shut out 2 weeks ago in the second half. I would love to put my defense on the field with a lead and put some pressure on that Kansas City offense to maybe come out of their comfort zone a little bit. Remember, they're not an over-the-top offense. They're dink and dunk, as you say. Charlie check down. I'd like to press them a little bit, too.
I know we make it seem like it's a no-brainer, but you mentioned the Baltimore game. And the way Baltimore Ravens started that game is exactly what you do not want.
1, 2, 3.
You can't go 3 and out and then give Patrick Mahomes the ball.
Run, incompletion,
You
punt.
cannot.
Now, to be fair, Baltimore answered with a touchdown the very next drive.
They did.
They
They were 3 and out to start the game.
They did. But that's not the circumstances that you want to have.
No.
When you
It
take
was
the ball.
tone setting. I thought that
Very
first
much
possession from the Ravens, we all thought the Ravens were going to win. They had the home crowd. The crowd was so excited. They went 3 and out. They punted, and all of a sudden the whole building was like, wait a second, what happened now? So, Craig, my question for you is this. Was this season a disappointment for Lamar Jackson?
Yes, 100%, because in the biggest game of the year, he played like crap, and his offensive coordinator didn't do many favors either. I did appreciate his lousy acceptance speech last night when he said, and I'm damn near quoting it, I may miss a word or two here, I want to thank the Ravens for paying me.
Is that what he said?
I swear to God, that's what he said. I want to thank the Ravens for paying me.
Getting that deal done.
Sorry to let you down in the AFC Championship game. Look, it's a disappointment because, like we've said a lot throughout the couple months on this show, this was the year.
This was the year.
Kansas City is not Kansas City of the last 3, 4, 5 Super Bowl runs, and they admit that themselves. I'm not talking out of school. They'll tell you that they're different. This was all set up perfectly. You get the number 1 seed. You got health. Mark Andrews came back for that game, right? And you're sitting there. You're at home. Your favorites. They had to play an extra game that you didn't have to play, and you got the league MVP. And frankly, they crumbled under that pressure. And it starts with Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, who obviously had a great year this year and probably should have been coordinator of the year, not Jim Schwartz in Cleveland, which is a story for another day. And as soon as Kansas City scored, Baltimore was like, uh-oh, we're running out of possessions. I know we're the best running offense in football, but now let's revert back to something we didn't do all year long. And it cost them, obviously, a chance to go to the Super Bowl. So, great year, yes. Deserving of the MVP, 100% yes. Was damn near unanimous. Disappointment, yes. And I think he would tell you that too.
Yeah, it was disappointing because all the, woes or kind of knocks on Lamar Jackson came alive in that game, right? There was missed throws. He was inaccurate. We talked about his ability to, the interception. You're talking about getting out of the pocket and making plays with his legs. He wasn't able to do that. So the Lamar Jackson that we had seen all season just didn't show up in the biggest game of his career.
And by the way, and this is what I always talk about, we don't remember the first, second, or third quarter when you're talking about the legacy games, the championship games, and the Super Bowl. I'm going to play the role of a mentalist right now.
Oh.
What is the last image you guys have of Lamar Jackson this year?
Slamming his helmet.
After what? After throwing the ball into triple coverage in the end zone with a chance to get within 3 with plenty of time on the clock.
Yep.
No one talks about anything else, right? And that's the reality of how we digest major moments in sports.
We do.
Game on the line.
Yeah.
What did he do? And nothing else before that matters or is worth talking about. So, yes, deserving of the MVP. We all would have voted for him.
Correct.
So no issue with that. But to answer your question, a major disappointment in how that season ended. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching The Carton Show. You can subscribe right here to get all the latest bits and segments from the show. And by the way, while you're at it, we have a lot of great shows on FS1, so check them out too.